Great. Well, it's a delight to bring back to the sofa Joe Scott-Jones. I remember last year I introduced him as suffering from a severe case of multiple diplomatosis. He's now beginning to suffer from multiple chair-tosis. Joe, you've got at least 2 chairs and probably rising. Chair of the Rural GP Network and now chair of the Rural Health Alliance Aotearoa New Zealand. This is your second part of this big conference. You had the Rural Health Alliance conference yesterday, day before.
Wednesday, yes.
Yeah, and now here you are today wearing the other hat on your seat. I've never quite worked out what chairs do with hats and seats. Keen to talk about both. So let's get the RANZ conference. Tell me what we need to know about that. And for those who didn't come, who want to know about it, what ground did you cover?
So the Rural Health Alliance Aotearoa New Zealand had its second annual conference this year.
Well done.
And having last year started with our 5 founding organisations, we now have 21 member organisations, which is fantastic, covering a range of health and community-based organisations. So membership from a variety of PHOs, Rural Canterbury PHO, for example, and the district councils, local government New Zealand, a number of organisations like Dairy Women New Zealand, Rural Women, Federated Farmers, as well as the usual players, ourselves as the Rural General Practice Network, the College of GPs, College of Nurses. So it's there's a really growing enthusiasm for the concept of what RANZ is.
So if you were to have a mission statement, what mission statement would you say it has got in one sentence? Off we go.
This was one of the things that we were working on actually as our DACNets. We're looking to we're doing things to enhance the health and well-being for all rural people in Aotearoa. The reason that's important is because, a bit like the theme of the Networks conference, the rural New Zealand is the heart of our country. It's incredibly important for everybody's leisure. It's part of the way that we identify ourselves as a country, and it is also vital for our economy. And it's vital for our economy that the people who work in rural New Zealand have good quality health services. All of these organisations recognise those things. And we've spent a little bit of time talking about, that's very motherhood and apple pie, and it's a big vision. What would be the specific things that we would want to put more energy into, or like to see to guide others putting more energy into over the coming few years?
So where's RANZ going to go? So if we look at RANZ in the future, where's its future direction, and how are we going to be all the richer for having RANZ with us?
I think RANZ as a collaborative, cooperative organisation is something whose time has really come. Each of the individual organisations has strategies and goals and is working around ways to improve the health and well-being of people in rural communities. There is a huge strength from doing the common things together, and I think we'll see more effect from what dairy women are wanting to do, what rural women are wanting to do. We'll see more effect from what the network wants to do in rural New Zealand, because we're all working together for these things. It's very hard to be sidelined as a professional body, sort of patch protecting your issues around rural general practice, when what's actually being said is being said from a very broad group of people.
Well, congratulations on your first birthday on the 21 member organisations. That's brilliant. Moving right on, we've got the conference, we've had the political session this morning, and you sparked it off beautifully by talking about a storm which is coming forwards, and very clever, because there is really a storm coming forwards. But
it's a beautiful day outside at the moment, isn't it?
And I've got my umbrella ready to turn inside out. Yeah. So the virtual storm, in 1 minute, what virtual storm is going to hit us, and how do we prepare for it?
I think I'm referring to 2 major issues. Really, one is this period, this 191 days we heard today now before the election, and there'll be a lot of discussion, a lot of issues will be raised during that time. And I think that really, as health professionals, we really need to engage in that conversation. We need to keep rural health visible as an issue. The other issue that's going to be facing us more directly in our practices is the challenge and opportunity that the change in rural funding is going to bring.
Now then, the question I did ask Tim Malloy this earlier on, and I'd be lovely to compare and contrast your answers. The political session this morning, what I could see was behind the speakers we had a big board with the main issues which are facing us, and those issues are 20 years old roughly, and by and large, I don't know what you felt, but I felt the solutions they came forward were 20 years old as well. Nothing new with the problems, nothing new with the solutions. What, however, I think what we're looking for is a new way to overcome them. So through your eyes, what is going to be different about these four politicians? How are they going to knock us out with overcoming the problems?
I think this is the age of collaborative leadership. And I think that the way that was voiced today was that the necessary players would be locked in a room and the key would be thrown away until we'd sorted out what actually needed to happen. The follow-on from that was that the government would do whatever was decided within that room. A virtual room, hopefully. A virtual room, hopefully. Well, no, of course I believe them. I have trust and faith that what our leaders of our country say they're going to do, they do. And I think that's been borne out in previous elections. When people make promises, then they have actually followed through with them. And I think that's something I'd like to rely on this time as well.
So your optimism-ometer, you think, for the next 3 years, irrespective of the government we've got ahead?
I think we've got a stormy time ahead. I think it's going to be difficult. We know that the alliancing process is a big change for district health boards. It's a big change for the way that district health board planners and funders work.
And that's a big one to finish on. We've just got a few seconds left. So for people listening to us right now, aware of the fact we do have a different way that all funding is going to go, can you just in a nutshell explain that alliancing and what input can we have with that alliancing?
So alliancing is a process where the parties in an alliance have joint power over the decision making of the alliance.
And who makes the alliance?
These alliances between the district health boards and the primary healthcare organisations that we work with. As rural providers working within, we need to have really strong relationships with our primary healthcare organisations, and we have a unique opportunity to either allow our funding to come under a flexible funding pool, or to not, and to stay out of that. So we have an opportunity now to embed very good practice and future-proof the alliance as far as rural funding is concerned.
So we need good input into our local alliances, so we've got ownership of that, do you think?
And the first step is to have a really good relationship with your PHO. Have a really strong, rurally focused primary healthcare organisation. If they're not rurally focused now, then you need to make them rurally focused.
Good on you, mate. I think we're going to be right out of time on this one. So Joe, I really wish you the very best of luck with this conference. We've got to thank Joe Scott-Jones for coming here. As a scarily busy guy, I have no idea you found the time to come and chat and look so relaxed about it. Keep believing in politicians. If you do, maybe some others might join in. Bless you, mate. Well done. Thank you for coming.
Okay.
Cheers. Take care. And thank you, Joe.
I also believe in fairies.
Keep that. Well done.